Welcome to the Big Trios podcast. Today we're doing our second episode. We got some good feedback from our first one on Hamster. Looks like most people agree with what we were saying, and that's not a surprise because he's a dumb fucking idiot. But here we go again. The Big Trio's back. I am Yellow.
I'm White.
And I'm Brown.
And today we're going to be talking about another one of our friends. We're going to name this one Skunk. And throughout the series, he'll reoccur, and you'll find out more and more why we name him Skunk. But let me just get this right here. Hold on 1 second. Just getting my espresso. You guys notice that the pumpkin spice lattes are already out?
No, I did not know they were out yet.
You see anything, Brown?
Too soon for all this.
No, they're out. I was legitimately in line, and it was people lining up for pumpkin spice latte. It's fucking late summer, man. It's not even a September yet, and people. I don't know how you dropped that shit already. It fucking pisses me off.
For basic bitches.
What was that?
It's for basic bitches.
It is. I'm not even lying to you. There was 5 like hardcore white girls in Uggs in front of me
100%.
in line trying to get the pumpkin spice latte extra large.
100%.
Stereotypes are sometimes true. It was crazy. I was looking at that shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's not even September yet. We're not even back to school, and you're dropping pumpkin spice latte. Not that I have anything against it, but what the fuck? It's August. So dumb. Anyways, let me get to this now. So Skunk knew both White and Brown before I met him. So why don't you guys give him a little bit of a background on how he was and how you guys met. So Brown, why don't you start with that?
He came into work one day. I remember I was with the manager when I first started with my job, and he came in one day with his girlfriend, and apparently he knew the manager at the time. And so he came in and he was like just talking to her about how he's like a carpenter and all that stuff. So I was just listening, what's going on. I didn't really know. I said, hey, and that's about it. Then I noticed this guy, his girlfriend left and went to go do shopping, and he stayed in the store, and he was asking for a job. Now in my head, I'm like, why the hell does this guy's a carpenter? He's probably making good money. Why are you like trying to get a fucking part-time job? And he just started going around and like started like moving shit and like fixing things. I'm like, what's happening here right now? And then he started talking to me. So the manager left for a bit to do something, and then I was just like, oh, what's going on? How are things going? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, what's your name? So he told me his name. And then he's like, bah, but nobody called me by my name. They actually call me as Buddha. And in my head, I'm like, who the fuck? Like, which brown person do they call Buddha? And he's like, oh, that's just like my dealer name and shit. I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. Another fucking guy trying to act all hard and shit. So whatever. He left with his girlfriend. She came back and they dipped. And then the manager, I was having a discussion with the manager, and she's like, I actually want to hire him. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, you want to hire a brown guy to come to the store that starts fixing random shit, tell you he's a carpenter, and then he's telling you his name's Buddha? And like, don't fucking hire him. Like, that's retarded. So he actually found that out, and believe it or not, he still got hired. And then I got put to like train his ass. And then we were talking. He was telling me how like him and his girlfriend at the time got into a fight, and how she has. I'm like telling him, I'm like, what the fuck is she telling you? He's like, oh, she's telling me if I don't leave work right now and come home because she's not feeling well, then I can just fuck off and we're over. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're working. Just be like, you fuck off and you can wait. And he's like, oh, I can't tell her that, man. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can't stand up for yourself? And he was just going off about, he's like, nah, I might have to leave. I'm like, so you're basically going to get fired because she's not feeling well, even though she's at home. And you're going to get fired just to go home to what, sit there? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna like comfort her and shit. I'm like, yo, just tell her you're at work and don't worry about it. So he told her that, and he showed me the message afterward, and she's like, okay, fine, well, fuck you, we're done. And then this guy started sulking behind. He's like, oh, I can't believe what I just did, and blah blah blah. He's like, she showed up like randomly or some shit like that. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, this shit can't be going down. And he's like, yo, like, I have to get my debit card. I'm like, okay, why the fuck does she have your debit card? He's like, oh, because I give her to like do all the shopping and stuff like that with it. And I'm like, and you pay for it afterwards? He's like, yeah, I pay for it, and I paid for her like gym class, and he was just naming off all this like random shit. So I was telling him, I'm like, yo, man, like I was trying to show him out. I'm like, yo, that's cool and all. You can like take care of your girlfriend, you can do all that kind of shit. But like you can't be paying for everything when you're sleeping on the streets pretty much. What the fuck are you doing? And so anyways, that's basically how we started talking, and then he was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna stick by you and be your friend and blah blah blah, and then we start hanging out, and that's basically a little intro of how I got to know him and how we started hanging out.
Okay. And then White, what about you in relation to
Here's the best part on this. Brown decided that he would hang out with this guy even though there was shady behavior.
this is just so the audience knows. Just so the audience knows, Brown caused a lot of the infiltration of these people like hamsters.
There's a common trend. There's definitely a common trend.
Where Yellow's influence came real with all these ones. They'll find that out. I give the people benefit of the doubt at the beginning, like whatever. Like I'm like he was a young kid at the same time, and I'm like whatever. He's going through all the shit. I'm like okay, maybe this explains why he behaves the way he behaves and why he tries to like prove to people or try to impress people and thinks he's like a big man. I'm like whatever. Like at the time, I can see all this shit going on because he was telling me he didn't have like a father in his life, all that kind of crap. So I'm like whatever. Like I'll give people the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. So yeah, that's what happened.
Go ahead, White.
So I also met Skunk from work and stuff, and I kind of was just to say in upper management role, and I didn't really have direct interaction with him or anything like that, but the one time I kind of did at work was basically to come in and fire him because he thought it was a good idea to steal money. But before that time, we hung out, we did birthday parties, bars, that kind of stuff, and he seemed like an okay guy. But that's the real one interaction that I had prior to stuff was having to let him go from work.
Yeah, that's amazing. This guy, you're gonna have to go through possibly go through the method of why he thought that was gonna work later on. But so basically, though, what you guys are saying is he seemed fairly normal and like just a pretty much a normal guy doing normal stuff and behaving normally, like nothing out of the ordinary how we suspected or we dealt with Hamster before. So at the beginning, what would you say, like a first couple of years or so, you would say like he was pretty normal, chill guy?
Yeah, like I said, we did birthdays, we did like random road trip things like that. So yeah, I would say everything was fairly normal.
Okay. So that's the introduction to Skunk in terms of his normal behaviors. I met him, I think on one of our trips, like road trips, for just a party, just a little bit out of town. And the first time I met him, he seemed normal as well. Like I saw that he was trying to be like a big man, trying to impress a little bit. But some people are just like that at the beginning, just because they want to make a good impression. So I kind of brushed it off, and for the next couple of years or so, us four hung out quite a bit in terms of like just going out and whatnot, and he seemed normal. But just to give you now like a little bit more of a background in terms of when he started getting fucked up, this would have to do with his relationships, in terms of just like how Hamster was. He was pussy whipped to the max, and I don't think he was ever not pussy whipped. Even when we met him at the beginning, he just maybe hit it well. But as we went along, the words and his actions did not match what he was telling us. So that was one of the things, and also he became increasingly more. How would you say? It's not confidence, but it's. I wouldn't even know how to explain it. He talked a huge game, and then but behind that huge game was absolutely nothing in terms of girls, in terms of money, in terms of status. And it's not like our group of friends measure ourselves in these ways, because we actually probably never bring much of this stuff up. Maybe girls, but that's more rubbing each other's face than like bragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these two over here were the biggest shit talkers for that, but whatever. We'll get into those two later. We'll stick to Skunk right now. But he just talked a big game. He bragged, and there was just nothing behind the substance. And we slowly found out like that none of these things matched his words and his actions. So let's get into it now, and we'll probably start. I think we started seeing his fucked up behaviors with his first girlfriend, and I think Brown talked about it for a little bit there when he first got hired with that company, and how he showed a little bit of like stupid behaviors. But I think those grew, right? Why don't you talk about him and his interactions with his first girlfriend?
So some pretty funny shit I found out was this guy. So she, like you said, he was basically pussy whipped by anything that he would have, and he targeted like a certain look with girls.
Yes. Oh yes.
So they would definitely have to be blonde, or he'd make them turn blonde. But if they're blonde, they have to have this like fucking like mousy look to them. It's hard to describe.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a mousy look. Anyways, he had some like weird ass shit where obviously for sex he would do anything for her. So if that meant paying for shit, buying shit, as long as he was getting sex. And he was like, I'm talking about a guy that fucking goes to places with ripped underwear and shit. Was talking about how like any girl that sees him wants him. And he apparently cheated on his first woman several times, even though the way he fucking behaves with her, you're like, buddy, you wouldn't even leave the house if she was around. Like, you can even like say anything. If she said fucking skunk, or she said Buddha, whatever the fuck your name was, you would have to run the other way. So he basically got head on his birthday, so that's once a year. But anytime she wanted to get her pussy licked, he had. And this is disgusting. So if anyone that's listening right now, if you're eating, you might want to take a pause. But this included after soccer games, he would go obviously whip. So he was her fucking cheerleader. So he would go there and cheer her on. And after soccer games, he would basically eat her out. No shower.
No, come on, there had to be a shower. Come on.
There was no shower, and I'm like, that's fucking disgusting. Your cholesterol level must be high. Like, it's
Oh my god.
disgusting, bro. Anyways,
Hold on a second. So, are you saying that she would play a full soccer game, sweat, and then there's no break? There's no break in between him eating her pussy out because she wanted it right then and there for him to do it? Like, not even a break where like the sweat could dry a little bit, or this was
there's no breaks. I'm talking about like who knows if she even showered the night before. That's what I'm saying. Is
Man.
Leading up from waking up to soccer game to after soccer game, and then he basically showered her.
That is fucking disgusting. Why didn't he just say no until like this was like, yeah, I don't mind doing it, but
he had to
first.
His thing was that he likes to please women, but that's not what it was. He felt, and I know what it is. He felt like he had to do those things in order to keep her. I know that's what it was, but that's nothing, man. I had a birthday party, and so I invited all the friends. Everybody came over. So he brought her, and she was like, "You can stick around with your friend. This is like a good friend of yours. You can stick around. That's fine." So he dropped her home, and I'm like, "Yo, man, are you coming back? Like, you're only here for a fucking hour. Nothing started yet." He's like, "Yeah, I'll come back." So he came back, and 15 minutes later, no lie, 15 minutes later, he gets phone calls and gets messages. "Can you come? I'm not feeling well." Anytime she wanted him to leave, it was she's not feeling well and he's got to go there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing there? What are you going to sit there and do? She's not feeling well. She needs to sleep. I don't understand what you're doing. What are you sitting there doing?
He has to go eat her pussy and get those germs out for her.
That's worse.
Apparently, that's what it is. We went. Where is it? She went to a club like one night. So he came out to hang out. I'm like, oh man, you fucking got a chance to come out and like chill. You're not. Because we used to tell him that he's fucking whipped all the time, but he's like, no, I just know how to treat my women. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So she went to a club one night. He didn't tell me. He came to hang out for a bit. And I'm like, oh man, you whatever. I chirped him for a bit. I'm like, you finally got out. He's like, yeah, I told her, like, whatever. Then I find out she calls him and she's like, oh, I'm ready to be picked up now, like downtown, wherever they were. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, she went out? I'm like, no wonder why your ass came out. And he's like, yeah, I gotta go pick her up now. I'm like, so we're done? Like, this is it, eh? I know your ass is gonna go leave now. He's like, yeah, just come with me and we'll chill afterwards. So we went and picked her up. This man had the audacity to tell me to go in the back seat. So her drunk ass can sit in the front. He's lucky at the time. I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna. But he's like, yeah, she has to sit in front. Like, that's her seat. She has to sit in front. I'm like, all right.
So,
all right, cool.
So he made you go with him to go pick her drunk ass up. But you were in the front seat already, and he told you must go to the back seat so that she can sit in her throne in the front.
I wasn't gonna actually go with him because I'm like, this is fucking useless. Why am I going to pick up like his woman? This is retarded. But I went because she was out with friends partying for our friend's birthday. Is what I found out. So I'm like, all right, maybe there might.
We all know where your mind went. I wanted to go see other girls.
There was hoping for some other friends to be picked up, but the only fucking one was the drunk one, and that was his.
This is typical. Just so the listeners know, both Skunk and Hamster do know each other, and you can see some overlapping behaviors already starting to get in there. White, you got anything to add about that first? I'm not sure if you knew anything much about the first girlfriend.
No, I wasn't really around him personally on a personal level when he had his first girlfriend. No.
Okay. So I think during the first girlfriend, like, how did that end? I think Brown mentioned that he said Skunk cheated on her, which I don't believe. Where did you hear that from? Did he tell you that?
He he told me she cheated on him.
Oh, she cheated. That makes more sense. Yeah. Okay.
She cheated on, and literally that same night. So the story goes, she basically went out and said she was at dance class, and he went to go check up on her, and she wasn't at no fucking dance class. So,
she was dancing. She was dancing on some man's pole.
Dancing in fucking bed. So he went and he drove around to every movie theater within the vicinity of where she lived.
Oh my god!
To look for a certain because there was someone that he had an idea of that she was already like talking to as a friend. So any guy that she spoke to, they're friends, and he had to understand that, and he had to, yeah. So even if the guy was like, "I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you," she would be like, "Yo, you have to understand that he has these feelings towards me, but nothing's gonna happen." And he was the kind of guy that he had to suck it up and deal with it. So he had to. No, it's fine. It's normal. That's normal for her to feel like that. She's not gonna do anything. Anyways, he had a suspicion that something's happening already with this guy that she like practiced soccer or a friend or something like that. Everybody was a friend. So he was looking for this guy's car because he had a hunch that maybe she was out with him. And so he went to every movie theater within the vicinity. There's probably maybe 10 movie theaters. I'm not exaggerating. Maybe about 10 movie theaters he went, and he saw the car. So he saw the car and started messaging her and popped off on her. And he like lost the shit. And then she basically said, "You don't trust me, we're done." And he felt bad, and he felt like he was the one. He felt like he was the one that was to be blamed for it. And he tried to go fucking apologize the next day.
Yo,
Like
didn't he like catch like didn't he catch like some sort of like condom box in the backseat of the car that wasn't like his at all? And I think like he was like, "Who are those? Whose condoms are those?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know. I bought them for us." He's like, "I've never used his condoms before." And then there's like the other guy sitting like right beside her, and he's like, why can't I buy condoms for us? And he's like, he sucked it up. He's just like, "Oh, I guess so. Yeah, it's nice of you to buy condoms for us." That girl was fucking that other guy with these condoms. This guy still he still went to apologize. What kind of fucked up
this,
shit is that?
this is the first time I've heard that.
So she told him that she left dance and went to the movies. Now that I remember it, and that's why he went to all the theaters, and then saw the guy's car there, and then he went back again. So he was like timing her for the movie, and he went back, and the car wasn't there anymore. And then he found the car at by the lake.
Oh yes.
And she's like, "Oh, he just went for a walk," and he fucking lost his shit even more there. And I'm like, "Yo, man, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You went to the movies. You went to the movies with your friend. That's cool. But 1 o'clock in the morning, why are you at the lakefront walking with this man?"
With a box of condoms in the backseat of the car. and yet he still believed that she wasn't doing anything, and he actually went to go apologize. That's messed up. Fuck. So in the end, though, sorry, go ahead.
Here's the other thing too. Even after they broke up, she found another guy that pretty much had a fucked up thing. She found a guy that looked like him but taller.
It's disgusting.
And he was chasing after girls that looked like her, which was weird. But after she found her man, he was still going over to the house because he was friends with her brother.
Well,
he was going over.
One second. So they ended off. How did they end off first though? Did eventually she said that he couldn't trust her.
That was basically it.
That was basically it, even though she was like clearly like cheating on him.
Yeah, and then he started trying to get back by saying he apologized and shit. I'm like, it's not even your fucking fault. Why are you apologizing for? But he wanted her back, but she was already long gone. Like at that point, she was already talking to somebody else because it was within a week after that breakup. She didn't even go to the guy that she was walking to the lake and shit with anymore and slamming. She went with like the lookalike, but a taller version.
Oh man,
that's rugged, man. Like that. How do you? I don't understand these behaviors. Why are you fighting for a girl that's clearly cheating on you, then trying to break up with you in terms of saying you don't trust her, even though she's clearly not trustable, and then you still try to beg her back. And then I think now we're getting to that second part where you're saying he was friends with her brother, and so what happened there? What was his move there?
His intention was to keep the brother close, and he went to the extent of going over to the house, even though she had a new man. He went over to the house because he felt like if he competed with that guy, he can show that he's still a good guy. So she would leave the lookalike and get back with him. That's how fucked up it was. It was to that point where he was going to like the funeral and shit for when he didn't even know their family. He didn't even know the person that died.
No.
Man.
But apparently the person that died knew him. So he went to show some sympathy and stuff like that for the family and show that he was a good guy, hoping that she would be like, "Yo, you're good. You've changed. I want you back." You're watching your ex-woman slam another man that looks like you. But you're still hanging around there, like watching that shit happen.
Oh, what's funny is that not only was he like hanging around, he was like he was doing like boyfriend shit for her, and so basically she would like use him for, I don't know, rides, money, whatever. I think at that time you were trying to warn him like this is fucked up. So he was getting used by her for like money, like gifts and all that shit. So basically they would do whatever they're gonna do during the day, and then she would go home and fuck her boyfriend, and then he'd be like, "Yo, that's fine because she knows who the better guy is, so she'll eventually see who's the better guy." But the other guy is winning fully. He's fucking, and he doesn't even have to spend money on her. And this guy felt that was normal. Anything else to add on that first one there?
There's lots more to add because when he starts going on to the next woman, oh good God, that's another podcast on its own for just part 2 of that. But I don't know I don't know how we're looking at for time here. Or we
I think I think maybe we should wrap this up then. It's about that time. Okay, yeah. So we didn't even get White's opinion on this. Maybe you want to just give a little prelude just a little tease into the next one about his second girlfriend, because
next one will be good.
Yeah. White, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The next girlfriend is definitely going to be interesting. We all have a little something to say on this one, but let's just say he likes to find girls that are interested in other guys and message them behind their backs. So, yeah, we'll get into more detail on that one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. There's next, I guess we probably will end up continuing with Skunk next time around. So until then, just hang on to these thoughts. You got the little bit of a prelude and also what he did with his first girlfriend. His second girlfriend, I think, is actually much, much worse. And like White said, he has a type, and that type is what Brown said looked like a mousy, like blonde girl. To me, what that looks like, if you can get a description of it, is basically a basic bitch. Like that's the type of girl he goes for. That look of like just a white girl that's blonde and a little bit like trashy. And that's how he goes with it. But the second one wasn't blonde, but she was
definitely trashy.
And we'll get into that a little bit more. So until next time, this is the Big Trio Yellow,
Big Trio White,
and Big Trio Brown.
And we can be reached at Instagram at the Big Trio 3. That's number 3. And then individually, you can be reached at the Big Trio _Yellow, _White, or _Brown. Tell us what you think about Skunk. We didn't get into full detail with him today, but we'll continue probably next time or down the road. He has just messed up, fucked up behavior. So there's lots to talk about him. And also between him and Hamster, they have a little bit of a history as well. And so we'll connect those things as well. So we'll talk to you next time, and enjoy your long weekend.